We've all reached a time where we're so tired we don't know whether we could type another key, have another conversation, pick up another pen, drive another kilometre, plough another field, play another song to Viso. But what do we learn from Luke 5, 4 to 7 about catching a fish when we just go through that moment and follow what the Lord's given us? Taviso, welcome. But when have you been at that end so tired, but you just know that the continuation will bring you the miraculous catch of what you're looking for?
Yeah, Rob, this is so bad. This topic is so deep within my heart because I think I've been in this season for quite a long time. I was chatting to my wife as well about it, and I was like, I wish for that, like and I've seen it in a lot of successful people that thing of okay, cool, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. This is basically what I have been working at, and then you finally get it, and then you start running with it. It's like yesterday I had an interview with Droom Syndrome. It's two boys that they were almost like an overnight success, right? But the important thing that they said, and I loved it. They were like, they know they dropped a song and the song did well and took them, right? And it took them to the height that they wanted to be at. But then they had to follow up. And I was like, yo, this is good. This is good. So they had things in place to follow up. And I think that is important. That a part where you finally made it, you finally are where you want to be, and now you have to still keep on following up. So for me, yes, it's been a pretty long season of that. And I think I'm at a point where Jesus is also telling me, okay, Tabs, maybe not this side, but cast your net into this side. And now it's literally just that patience between this side nets filling up and me being able to put it up onto the boat. And also bearing in mind that, I have a Jesus who's actually at the shore, busy already preparing the fish for me. And I think that, oh man, honestly, I love this verse and in Luke, because it talks a lot to me about trust. Trusting God's timing, and it talks to me also about the new opportunities, because it means that if this side doesn't work, this side might work.
I hear all of that, and I also hear that I've said for a long time we're all just one conversation away in business, right? And you don't know when your one conversation is going to be, but there is always a one conversation moment in the business. And my experience shows me that it's normally when we least want the conversation, are least ready for it,
Yes.
we might be closest to giving up as well, that the conversation often comes then. And as I look at Luke 5, 4 to 7, that they're already tired. They've worked all night. They haven't caught anything. And then there they are being sent out again to go deeper, which really means go further and go harder and do more. Like go deeper is the word, put out into the deep water. How many of us are still playing near the shoreline? How many of us have really committed to the deep water?
And especially when you're getting tired, because then it's such a heavy thing to then go deeper.
That's it. How many of us have actually committed to going really deep, or are we still hedging our bets? Are we still being curious entrepreneurs trying to drive 5 different ventures forward at exactly the same time? Really trying to therefore use 5 different nets and 5 different boats, and we're the only fishermen. Is that us? The people who achieve absolute miracles. Yeah, you look at a Jeff Bezos with Amazon for 25 years before he actually stepped down as CEO. 25 years, one Amazon. You look at Bill Gates and Microsoft, Mark Zuckerberg, so Facebook, and then Meta. And so many people, myself included, have been trying to have 5 hustles going at the same time. And we think that we're being clever. But in reality, I don't think we're getting that far off the shoreline. We're certainly not putting out into the deep water and letting down the nets for a catch. And so I wonder for everybody listening what it is that you need to go deeper, more committed, more mastery. What would happen? What is it for you, Tabs? What do you reckon what's the Lord leading you for deeper towards?
I think it is deeper towards spending more time with Him within my business. And for me, it is literally become a place where I head to, because as his word says, if we are concerned with the things of the kingdom, he will add the rest. And I think whatever that may look like, if it means that I get to spend an hour more time with him within my business time, let me do that. If I'm in a plane and I decide not to watch a movie, but I'll decide to watch a sermon, or I decide to read my Bible, let it be that. And I think that is what God is leading me to basically do and go deeper in with. And it's quite a beautiful place to be at. As I've been doing this more and more, you get to a more peaceful place within your heart, within your business, with where your business is. Because all of this then starts falling in place. You start trusting God when He tells you, okay, cool, maybe not this side, but that side, or go deeper. The trust comes a little bit more easier. And I think with new opportunities as well, I was chatting to someone today, and they shocked me by saying the following, but it's because I don't get a lot of people who says this, but they were like, in Tagiso, I love change. And I was like, in, whoa, who are you? Because people don't love change. It's uncomfortable for them. They love the routine, especially when it comes to work. If maybe new management comes in, or maybe you have to move to another position, or maybe someone leaves and stuff has to change in and around work. But for me, I've always seen it as a new opportunity. Like, change is always a new opportunity. And I somewhat get excited because I'm like, yo, where's God leading me with this opportunity? And yes, the nerves are there. And yes, you tend to have this place, or be at this place of being unsure. But I'm more excited about to see what God is going to unravel in this. But yeah, I think that's mainly the place where I'm at. Is I wanna definitely spend more time with God, and I think that's initially where He's getting me to, and that's also why we're having this, and I love it. And I have to ask you the same, Rob. When it comes to you, where do you feel that God is saying, okay, cool, Rob, go more into the deep?
I think partnering. I think I need to bring together a better, bigger team for partnering with. I think that's the thing, and I think there's something else coming in the background. I met a guy the other day who's setting up a Christian-based not-for-profit for young African entrepreneurs, sort of under the age of 25. Can't find a job, and part of me wonders whether or not this whole few verses, signaling the neighbours' boats so that theirs could be filled as well, the partners' boats could be filled as well. And so part of me wonders, go deeper. I'm wrestling with this, but at the moment, and I'm a bit worried about it, if I'm to be honest, but I can't see how I fail in business if I keep doing what I'm doing. I can't see how it happens. If I keep the word front and center in every business decision that I make and every life decision that I make. If I seek repentance as and when I stuff up, which is about once an hour, every hour, if I'm to be honest, because we're just human. I can't see, and I think going deeper is maybe looking to take on bigger goals sooner.
Sure.
Maybe that's going deeper. Maybe it's about getting narrower. And if you imagine you've got like almost a crosshairs, you've got the vertical and the horizontal. And if you could go deeper, as in more committed, but also then get that horizontal of bigger goals going up deeper.
Mm, mm, mm.
What if that was bravely thought about and tackled? How does that play out? And then how can you fail? How can you fail by going deeper, getting more committed, going again when you're tired, and putting the nets out and listening and following His instructions? How do we fail?
No, you're right. It's for me, it's actually then impossible to fail, especially if we follow His principles. And if we do fail, I don't think it will necessarily be a fail. It will be a lesson that's leading us onto those bigger goals, like you say, that's leading us onto that deeper waters. As you say as well. And I think I wanna also speak to the fact of the getting tired. So I think there's this different getting tired as well, right? There's that physically getting tired, and then there's that getting tired of, man, when am I going to reach that goal? When am I going to get that thing that's going to shoot me up? When is it coming? And I think for us to not lose hope in that, is quite important, and to trust God's timing. I think it's something that we've also actually spoken about. Literally this year, it's been my favorite verses in 2 Peter 3 verse 8, where God tells us that he doesn't see a difference between a day and 1,000 years, but he's actually patient with us because he doesn't want us to destroy ourselves, and he's waiting for us to get ready for those positions that he wants to put us in. And it's literally been such an amazing verse that I also go by. And I think it definitely speaks about this as well, about trusting God in the whole process.
I think that there's something that we haven't yet learned, and that everything that we are called to do, everything that we'd like to do, everything that we'd want to do, need to do, is all on the other side of the thing we haven't yet learned. And I don't think that the learning is found by reading some business book. I think the learning is about who we are as a human being and the new way in which we need to go and commit to him. And that might be, in our previous episode, we spoke about doing less. It might be doing less. It might be going deeper, as we've mentioned here. It could be a whole series of things. But I think that if we end up in an echo chamber, there's something that we haven't yet learned. And the signpost out appears when we learn what we need to learn. And maybe that's letting go. But equally, here's a thought for you to be so. And I've got something we can talk about offline actually about this, but your elevation in what you do is actually about you being on a bigger stage, on a bigger platform. We often run around trying to find the platform. What if we just created the platform?
Yeah. This is something that you've said to me, and I think where I'm guilty in this is definitely what we've also spoken about is my thinking of the work that has to go in. I think my mountain at the moment and my fear of casting the net, maybe on going deeper, or maybe even being tired to go deeper, is the fact that I'm thinking that it's a whole new thing that I'm going to have to build a platform for and a foundation for and see it grow again. And I think I'm dreading the lengthy time it's going to take to reach there, and that keeps me a bit demotivated. But also, I love the fact that I'm thinking about it, because for me it tells me then that it's possible. And I love that. I think it's just a matter of me taking on it and saying that, okay, Tubbs, here we go. Start building block by block, and think about 5 years from now, think about 10 years from now. And yeah, take it like that.
I think it's a lot closer than you realize and I realize. I think
Yes.
I think it's a lot closer. There's something that's screaming at me about partnering. These few verses mention partners, and I think we're busy hunting for opportunity. We're not creating the opportunity for ourselves. And if we need a boat, why don't we just make the boat? And what if there's a whole series of people? And this is relevant to anybody in business. What if there's a whole series of you who are complementary in your industries, who can come together to form a consortium of partners, not business partners with an equity shareholding or anything complicated necessarily, but you could all form a formal partnership where you start actually, a team goes further than an individual, where all of you could be marketing 10 of you, where I might get a referral or something that comes into me, but I can't service that work, but it's a DJing opportunity, or I don't know what it is, an opportunity. What would then happen if we were to do that and play that game? Where would we go to, and where would we end up? How does to be so? I got one question, and you'll probably come back to me with one, but my last question for you is: if you created 6,000 people in an audience for you to MC in front of and DJ to and speak in front of, and it all got recorded and shared, what happens to your future?
Huge change, a very huge change.
And so, the reality is that in a country like South Africa, audiences of that size probably get together on Sunday mornings in churches. And outside of some of those big churches, outside of that, there's probably 10 MCing opportunities a year for an audience of that size in South Africa. So very hard to go and get one of those opportunities. But what if we created it?
Created.
Build it and they will come.
Rob, where have you, sorry, and I know that we're going a bit longer than we should actually here, but where have you found that you've created something like that, but also in the very same breath, your partnerships, because I know that there's a few partnerships that you have, and there's a few that I really look up to because you really knew how to pick and you really knew how to partner. I want you to speak to me a little bit about that, about basically places that you've created something and then you partner and then it actually booms.
So I have a few. I have a few business partners, but not all of them involve an equity share or dividends or anything like that. Some of them are profit shares, but they're a few. The thing that I've tried to do is not box them into a corner and get them to come to me and tell them what works best for them based upon the value I bring.
Sure.
Because that then means that it's very hard for them to be disappointed in me as a partner. I probably could have pushed for more, but the pushing for more would have taken them to a place of discomfort and me to a place where I probably could have easily disappointed them at a point in time. And so what I'm very careful to do is to do that. And I'm also very careful to ensure that I make them the king of their kingdom. And that when I'm in their kingdom, I don't try not to be the king, a king, or maybe just a visiting member of royalty. But I try not to go and stamp all over their kingdom with regards to, my name's Rob and I own KingdomPreneur and blah, blah, blah. It's their kingdom and my job is there to ensure they stay the king or the queen of their kingdom. And for me, the bit that I'm lacking in, if I'm to be honest, is the inverse, is actually having an environment where I'm the king and I invite other royalty in. That's the bit that I'm lacking at. That's the bit I need to go work on. Yeah, that's the bit I need to go work on. But this conversation today with you actually has clarified quite a few things on that. So, world, watch this space.
Cannot wait.